The chamber is open and full of whispers.
Before we dive in, check the link in description if you want exclusive Timelines members-only videos you won't find on YouTube, all on our Patreon. Harry Potter is 10 years old when he finds the letter, not the Hogwarts letter. That won't come for another year. This one is different. Older. The parchment is yellowed, the seal broken but still visible, a crest with a rampant lion. He's cleaning the attic. Punishment for burning Aunt Petunia's breakfast. The Dursleys don't know he's found their hidden box. The one pushed behind the old trunk, covered in dust and deliberate neglect. Inside, his mother's wedding ring, a photograph of his parents, and 3 unopened letters from Gringotts Bank. The first letter is dated November 1981. Dear Lord Potter, we regret to inform you of the passing of James and Lily Potter. As the sole heir, you are required to attend an inheritance ceremony at your earliest convenience. Harry reads it 3 times. Lord Potter, not Master Potter, not young Potter. Lord. The second letter is dated July 1982. Dear Lord Potter, you have failed to appear for your scheduled inheritance ceremony. Per Goblin law, we are obligated to notify you that your vaults remain unsealed and vulnerable to unauthorized access. The third letter is dated July 1985. Final notice. Lord Potter, this is your last notification. Failure to claim your inheritance will result in your estates being declared dormant under ministry supervision. Harry sits on the attic floor, holding 3 letters that prove the Dursleys have been lying to him for 9 years. He's not worthless, he's a lord. Harry steals £20 from Uncle Vernon's wallet, takes the night bus from Little Whinging to London. The conductor stares at his ragged clothes but accepts the money. Diagon Alley, Harry says. Gringotts Bank. The bus drops him outside the leaky cauldron. Tom the barkeeper does a double take when Harry walks through. Bless my soul, Harry Potter. Harry doesn't stop, doesn't explain. Just walks into Diagon Alley and straight into the marble building with bronze doors. The goblin at the desk looks up. Yes? I'm Harry Potter. I received letters about an inheritance ceremony. I'd like to schedule one. The goblin's eyes narrow. How old are you? I'll be 11 next July. You're aware that inheritance ceremonies are typically conducted after the age of majority? The letters said I was required to attend. They didn't mention age restrictions. The goblin considers. Then, wait here. Harry is escorted to a private chamber deep within Gringotts. A senior goblin named Griphook sits across from him, a silver bowl on the table between them. An inheritance test requires 7 drops of blood. It will reveal all titles, vaults, and properties you are heir to. Are you certain you wish to proceed? Harry nods. The test takes 3 minutes. When the parchment emerges from the bowl, it's 2 feet long. Griphook reads it. His expression doesn't change, but his knuckles tighten on the parchment. Lord Harry James Potter, Black-Peverell. Heir to 3 ancient and noble houses, 4 seats in the Wizengamots, 11 vaults, total assets, 11,400,000 galleons. Harry stares. Additionally, Griphook continues, there is a foreign object detected in your person, specifically your scar. Dark magic, soul fragment, we recommend immediate consultation with a curse breaker. A soul fragment? In my scar? Yes, likely placed there during the event that created the scar. It is dormant but present. Harry touches his forehead. The lightning bolt scar, the one thing the Dursleys could never make him hide. Can it be removed? With the proper rituals. But first, Lord Potter, we need to discuss your vault audit. There have been unauthorized withdrawals. Over the next hour, Griphook explains. Albus Dumbledore, named temporary guardian after James and Lily's deaths, has been withdrawing money from the Potter vault, not stealing, exactly. The gold was used for protective measures and monitoring charms around Privet Drive. But Dumbledore's proxy authority expired in December 1981, 6 weeks after the Potters died. Every withdrawal since then has been technically illegal. How much? Harry asks. 107,412 galleons. Harry is quiet for a long time. Then, I want a full accounting. Every withdrawal, every expenditure, and I want the vaults locked to everyone except me. That will require formal emancipation. You're too young to control your assets without adult supervision under current ministry law. Approving. I'll provide documentation for your solicitor. In the meantime, take this. He hands Harry a small bronze key, emergency port key keyed to your blood. If you're ever in danger, break it. You'll be transported directly to Gringotts, where you'll be under goblin protection. Harry pockets the key, shakes Griphook's hand. Thank you, Lord Potter. Gringotts appreciates clients who take their inheritance seriously. Harry leaves the bank, returns to Privet Drive. The Dursleys don't notice he's been gone for 6 hours. That night, lying in his cupboard under the stairs, Harry holds the bronze key and plans. He's not a helpless orphan anymore. He's Lord Potter-Black-Peverell, and he's going to dismantle his prison legally. Harry hires Archibald Whitmore from the Yellow Pages, squib solicitor, specializes in cases involving both magical and muggle law, perfect for what Harry needs. You want to sue the Dursleys for illegal detention? Whitmore repeats, adjusting his glasses. Yes, and I want to sue Dumbledore for unauthorized vault access, and I want to petition for emancipation. The Noble Guardian Act of 1711 states that any heir holding multiple Wizengamot seats can petition for early emancipation if they can demonstrate financial independence and mental competency. You've researched this? Gringotts provided legal references. I've been reading for 3 weeks. This will be expensive. Court fees, filing costs, expert witnesses. I have 11 million galleons. Cost isn't an issue. Results are. Whitmore leans back. All right, Lord Potter, let's build your case. The chamber is half full. Emancipation hearings don't usually draw crowds, but when the petitioner is Harry Potter, the boy who lived, people pay attention. Harry sits at the petitioner's table with Whitmore. Across the aisle, ministry solicitors represent Dumbledore and the Dursleys. Dumbledore himself sits in the chief warlock seat, watching with unreadable eyes. The hearing begins. Whitmore presents evidence. The 3 unopened Gringotts letters, testimony from neighbors who saw Harry doing yard work at age 6, medical records showing malnutrition, a photographic survey of his cupboard bedroom. The Dursleys confined my client to a space smaller than the legal minimum for prisoner housing, Whitmore says. They used him as unpaid labor. They withheld food as punishment. Under both Muggle and magical law, this constitutes abuse and illegal detention. The Dursleys were appointed legal guardians by Albus Dumbledore, acting in his capacity as chief warlock. Their care, while imperfect, was undertaken in good faith, and Chief Warlock Dumbledore's appointment authority expired when he failed to secure formal ministry approval within 30 days of the Potters' deaths. The Dursleys have been operating without legal guardianship for 9 years. Murmurs through the chamber. Then Whitmore turns to Dumbledore. Chief Warlock, my client's vault audit shows you withdrew 107,412 galleons from the Potter Vault between 1982 and 1990. Your proxy authority expired in December 1981. Can you explain these withdrawals? Dumbledore stands. The gold was used to maintain protective wards around Privet Drive, blood wards keyed to Harry's mother's sacrifice, which require monitoring and reinforcement. Pause. Some of the expenditures were handled discreetly. Not all transactions were formally documented. So 63,000 galleons went to an organization called the Order of the Phoenix, 14,000 to monitoring charms, and 22,000 are entirely unaccounted for. And none of this was authorized by my client, the legal owner of the vault. The chamber goes very quiet. Dumbledore's voice is soft. I acted in Harry's best interest. You acted without his consent. That's embezzlement, Chief Warlock. The vote comes swiftly. The Dursleys are fined 50,000 galleons for illegal detention and abuse. Dumbledore is censured for unauthorized vault access and stripped of his proxy authority permanently. And Harry James Potter is declared legally emancipated 4 months before his 11th birthday. Outside the chamber, reporters swarm. Harry ignores them. Whitmore handles the press. Harry goes to Gringotts, places every vault under heritage lock, blood-sealed authorization required for all withdrawals. Then he travels to Potter Manor, a property he now controls outright. The manor is huge, empty, dusty. He spends his 11th birthday there alone, reading his mother's journals, learning that Dumbledore knew the bloodwords required Harry to feel loved at Privet Drive to function properly. They never functioned, because the Dursleys never loved him. Dumbledore placed him there knowing it wouldn't work, knowing Harry would suffer. Harry closes the journal, makes a note, adds Dumbledore to the list of people he'll never trust again. Harry boards the train wearing black robes with silver trim, Potter and black crests both visible. He's spent the summer reading 217 books, history, law, magic theory. He hired tutors for subjects Hogwarts doesn't teach, politics, economics, strategic planning. He's not going to Hogwarts as a student. He's going as a lord who happens to attend classes. The compartment is empty when he enters. He sits, pulls out Hogwarts, a history, rereads the section on house privileges. 15 minutes later, a girl appears in the doorway. Bushy brown hair, front teeth slightly too large. She's holding the same book. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" "No. Come in." She sits, extends her hand. "Hermione Granger, Harry Potter." Her eyes widen. "I've read about you, the boy who lived. You defeated you-know-who when you were a baby." "I didn't defeat anyone. I survived." "There's a difference." She considers this, then, "Fair point. So you're attending Hogwarts this year?" "Yes." "You?" "Yes. I've been reading ahead. Did you know Hogwarts was founded in 990 AD by 4 wizards, who each valued different traits? Gryffindor prized bravery, Ravenclaw wisdom, Hufflepuff loyalty, and Slytherin ambition." Harry smiles. "You've memorized the book." "I like to be prepared." "Have you memorized it?" "Parts." "The sections on house privileges and student rights. Why those specifically?" "Because I'm not just a student. I'm Lord Potter-Black-Peverell. 3 ancient houses, 4 Wizengamot seats, emancipated by court order. I need to know my rights before someone tries to restrict them." Hermione stares. "You're emancipated at 11? I petitioned the Wizengamot in March. They approved." "That's brilliant. How did you even know that was possible?" "Research, same way you knew about the founders." She grins. "I think we're going to be friends." Harry considers. Then, "I have a proposal. I'm establishing a house library at Hogwarts, 4,000 books on magic, history, politics, and law. I need someone to help organize and catalog it. The position is called House Scribe. Pays 50 galleons a month. Full access to the library. Interested?" "You're offering me a job?" "I'm offering you access to knowledge Hogwarts doesn't teach in exchange for organizational work." "What kind of knowledge? How house elf contracts actually work? Why the Wizengamot still has hereditary seats? How blood wards functioned? The legal definition of dark magic. Everything the ministry doesn't want students to know." Hermione's eyes light up. "When do I start?" "After we're sorted. I'll need to arrange quarters separate from the house dormitories, but yes, you start today." They shake hands. A golden shimmer appears briefly between their palms. Magical contract sealed. The train continues north. 2 hours later, Draco Malfoy enters the compartment. "I heard Harry Potter was on the train. Wanted to meet the famous boy who lived." He notices Hermione, sneers. "Though I see you're already keeping questionable company." Harry's voice is cold. "Miss Granger is house scribe of Potter, Black, and Peverell. If your father doesn't explain to you why insulting my scribe is a monumentally stupid idea, I'll file libel charges and let the Wizengamot teach you." Draco goes pale. "I didn't mean—" "Leave." Draco leaves. Hermione looks at Harry. "That was intense. That was necessary. Malfoys respect power. I just showed him where we stand." Outside, the Scottish Highlands appear. Inside, 2 11-year-olds begin building something that will change the wizarding world. The Sorting Hat sits on its stool. First years wait nervously. Harry stands at the back of the line, watching names get called. Hermione is sorted into Gryffindor after a brief consideration. Finally, Potter Harry. The hall goes silent. Every eye tracks him as he walks to the stool. The hat settles on his head. "Interesting. Very interesting. 3 houses claim you. Power, ambition, and cleverness in abundance. Slytherin would suit you well." "No," Harry thinks. "I invoke ancient house privilege under Article 7 of the Hogwarts Charter, 1290. The hat pauses. "You know your law. I'm an emancipated lord with 4 Wizengamot seats. Sorting me into a house creates political bias. I need to remain neutral." "You want separate quarters." "I want the same accommodations Durmstrang and Beauxbaton students receive when they visit Hogwarts is required to provide neutral lodging for visiting lords under the Charter." "You're not a visitor. You're a student." "I'm both, and the Charter doesn't distinguish." The hat is silent for 10 seconds. Then it speaks aloud. "Ancient House Privilege." Dumbledore stands. The hat cannot refuse to sort. Harry removes the hat, addresses the chamber directly. "I invoke Article 7 of the Hogwarts Charter. As an emancipated lord holding multiple Wizengamot seats, I have the right to request politically neutral accommodations. I'm not refusing to be sorted. I'm requesting an exception based on legal standing. Certified by the Wizengamot, I'm legally an adult under magical law. Forcing me into a house creates political bias that could affect my Wizengamot votes. Professor McGonagall approaches, examines the document, whispers to Dumbledore, heated discussion. Finally, Dumbledore speaks. Hogwarts will provide Lord Potter with separate quarters, the tower formerly used for Beauxbaton's delegations. Miss Granger will join him there as his scribe. Murmurs through the hall. Miss Granger was sorted into Gryffindor, Dumbledore continues, but as house scribe to an ancient house, she is entitled to reside with her employer. This is unprecedented, but legally sound. Walks to join Harry, the golden shimmer of their contract briefly visible. The sorting continues, but half the hall is still staring at Harry. He doesn't care. He just established that he's not a student like the others. He's a lord who attends classes. There's a difference. After the feast, Harry and Hermione are escorted to the Peverell Tower. Private quarters. 2 bedrooms, a common area, and a massive empty library waiting to be filled. Harry begins unpacking books. Hermione helps. The first book they shelve, Advanced Wizarding Law, Volume 1. "Thank you," Hermione says, "for bringing me here, for trusting me with this. Thank you for accepting I need someone who understands that knowledge is power. Most people think magic is power. Knowledge is what tells you how to use it." They work until midnight, building the foundation of something that will reshape Hogwarts. Outside, students gossip. Professors debate. Dumbledore sits in his office, wondering when he lost control of Harry Potter. The answer: 9 months ago, when Harry found 3 letters in an attic. Harry enters with Senior Auditor Ironback from Gringotts. The goblin carries a silver scroll. Students stare. Professors freeze mid-bite. Harry walks directly to the staff table. "Headmaster Dumbledore, I'm requesting a public accounting of all withdrawals from the Potter Vault made under your proxy authority." This is not the appropriate venue. This is exactly the appropriate venue. You used my family's money to fund operations at this school. The school community deserves to know how their headmaster spends other people's gold. The Wizengamot already ruled on this matter. The Wizengamot issued a censure. I'm exercising my right to transparency under Goblin Wizard Treaty of 1682. Ironback. The goblin unrolls the scroll. Reads aloud, Albus Dumbledore, proxy authorization expired December 1981. Subsequent withdrawals. 63,000 galleons to the Order of the Phoenix, a vigilante organization operating outside ministry oversight. 14,000 galleons to monitoring charms around number 4 Privet Drive. 22,000 galleons unaccounted for. Total unauthorized withdrawals, 107,412 galleons. The hall is silent. The Order of the Phoenix, Harry says, is not a registered charity. It has no ministry authorization, yet you funded it with my inheritance. The Order is your private army, funded with Potter gold. Without my consent, Hermione stands from the Peverell table, hands Harry a ledger. This is a detailed breakdown of expenditures, cross-referenced with Gringotts records. Notice the pattern. Every time there's a suspected Death Eater sighting, a withdrawal follows. You're using Potter money to fund surveillance operations. Surveillance that keeps people safe, Dumbledore says. Surveillance that you don't have legal authority to conduct. If the Order is legitimate, register it with the Ministry. Get proper funding. Stop stealing from my family. Harry turns to Ironback. Effective immediately, the Potter Vault is under heritage lock. Blood sealed. No withdrawals without my personal authorization. The lock is in place, Lord Potter. Harry turns back to Dumbledore. Your access is severed. Publicly, if you need funding for your projects, petition the Ministry like everyone else. He walks out. Hermione follows. Ironback follows. Behind them, the Great Hall erupts in whispers. Later that day, students choose sides. Some support Harry. He's right. Dumbledore overstepped. Others defend the headmaster. The Order protects us. Potter's being selfish. But the damage is done. The narrative of Dumbledore as the infallible greatest wizard of the age has a crack in it now, and Harry plans to widen that crack until the whole myth collapses. The chamber opens during Harry's second year. Attacks, petrifications, messages written in blood. The school is terrified. Harry spends 3 months researching the heir of Slytherin, the monster within, the 50-year pattern. When he finally descends into the chamber, he doesn't go alone. He brings Hermione, a Gringotts contract specialist named Sharptooth, and 3 goblin guards. The chamber is vast, ancient. Slytherin's serpent statue looms at the far end, and curled in the center, 60 feet of scales and venom, the basilisk. Harry speaks Parseltongue. I'm not here to fight you. The basilisk's eyes are closed. Its voice echoes in his mind. Then why are you here, little speaker? To negotiate. Negotiate, you've been alone for 50 years. Salazar Slytherin left you here to guard the chamber, but he's been dead for 1,000 years. You're not guarding anything anymore. You're imprisoned. What do you offer? Employment. Regular meals. Freedom to move within the chamber. Conversation, I'll visit once a week. We'll talk. You won't be alone anymore. And what do you want? Voluntary venom donations. 500 galleons per vial. 50% goes to your personal Gringotts account. The basilisk laughs. It sounds like grinding stone. You want to pay me? You're a sentient being. Your venom has value. Why shouldn't you profit from it? Salazar never paid me. Salazar enslaved you. I'm offering a contract. Sharptooth steps forward with a prepared document, reads it aloud in Parseltongue. Employment terms, payment schedule, voluntary participation clause, termination rights. The basilisk considers. What's your name, little speaker? Harry Potter, heir of Slytherin through conquest. Conquest, I destroyed Tom Riddle's diary. The horcrux, the memory that tried to use Ginny Weasley to open this chamber. I claimed Slytherin's legacy when I killed his last servant. Then you have the right to command me. I don't want to command you, I want to employ you. There's a difference. Long silence. Then, show me the contract. They negotiate for an hour, adjust terms, add clauses. Finally, the basilisk agrees, signs with a scale print. Harry names her Scales, Salazar's last gift. In a side chamber, they find Ginny Weasley, unconscious, dying, the diary beside her, bleeding ink. Harry destroys the diary with a basilisk fang. Ginny wakes, confused, terrified. You're safe, Harry tells her. The chamber is secure now. Lucius Malfoy storms into Hogwarts. Where is my diary? Potter stole my property. Harry meets him in the entrance hall. 2 Blackguard members flank him, masked, armed, silent. Lucius stops, stares at the guards. What is this? Private security. House Black Resources. The diary was a horcrux, Mr. Malfoy, a fragment of Voldemort's soul. You planted it on Ginny Weasley to frame Arthur Weasley and destabilize the Ministry? That's terrorism. You can't prove. I can prove the diary was yours. Dobby the house elf will testify under veritaserum that you gave it to him to plant in Ginny's cauldron. I can prove it was a horcrux. Gringotts Cursebreakers confirmed the soul magic. And I can prove you've been operating as a Death Eater because Bellatrix Lestrange will eventually testify to save herself from Azkaban. Do you really want to escalate this? Lucius goes pale, sees the guards, sees Harry's cold eyes, realizes the boy isn't bluffing. Keep the diary, Lucius says quietly. Then he leaves. Harry watches him go, turns to Hermione. File a report with the DMLE, suspected Death Eater activity. We're building a case. The Chamber of Secrets is renamed the Potter Reliquary, used to store Black family artifacts, guarded by Scales the Basilisk, and Harry has just demonstrated that he has resources beyond what any student should possess. The professors are starting to worry. Harry is 13. He sits in the House Black seat, now legally his after Sirius transferred lordship via a blood contract while imprisoned, a loophole allowing living transfer under extreme circumstances. He's wearing formal robes, black with silver trim. I call for the trial of Sirius Orion Black, Harry announces. Imprisoned for 12 years without trial, this body claims to uphold justice. Prove it. Black is a convicted Death Eater. Show me the conviction record. Silence? There isn't one, Harry continues, because he was never tried. You threw a man in Azkaban without due process. If the Ministry can imprison a lord without trial, none of us are safe. Not even you, Minister. Amelia Bones stands. Head of the DMLE, Lord Potter is correct. The absence of a trial is a violation of basic magical law. Regardless of Black's guilt, he deserves his day in court. The vote passes 3-1-1-9. Sirius gets his trial. Sirius is brought in, thin, ragged. 12 years of Azkaban have aged him, but his eyes are still sharp. The charges are read: murder of Peter Pettigrew and 12 muggles, serving as a Death Eater under Voldemort. How do you plead? Fudge asks. Not guilty. Do you submit to veritaserum? Yes. The truth ritual is administered by Gringotts, neutral third party. 3 drops, Sirius drinks. Did you betray James and Lily Potter to Voldemort? No. Peter Pettigrew was. We switched at the last minute. I suggested it. Thought it would be safer. I was wrong. Did you kill Peter Pettigrew? No. Peter faked his death, cut off his own finger, transformed into a rat. He's been hiding ever since. The courtroom erupts. Where is Peter Pettigrew now? Amelia Bones demands. Sirius smiles. The Weasley family owns a rat named Scabbers. Had him for 12 years. Missing a toe. I'd check that rat's identity if I were you. Harry stands. I have the rat in custody, taken from the Weasley residence with Arthur Weasley's permission this morning. Shall we test it? He produces a cage. Inside, a fat rat. Scabbers. Amelia casts the animagus reversion charm. The rat transforms. Peter Pettigrew stands in the courtroom, missing a finger, pale and terrified. Hello, Peter, Sirius says quietly. Peter tries to run. Aurors stun him. The veritaserum is administered. Peter confesses. Everything. The betrayal. The fake death. Hiding as a rat for 12 years. Sirius is exonerated. Peter is arrested. Harry and Sirius stand in the restored Black family home. The house elves have cleaned it. The family tapestry is visible again. Thank you, Sirius says, for not giving up on me. Your family, that's what family does. Your mother and father would be proud of you. They'd be horrified at some of my methods. Maybe, but they'd be proud of the results. Sirius looks at Harry. You're offering me a position, Regent of House Black, subject to annual review. That's not traditional. You've been in Azkaban for 12 years. You need time to recover. I need to know you're stable before I hand over full control of an ancient house. Prove yourself. We'll reevaluate in a year. Sirius laughs, bitter. I'm on probation with my godson. You're on a performance contract. There's a difference. Lily and James, your son is magnificent and terrifying. Harry smiles. I'll take that as a compliment. They shake hands. The contract seals. Outside, the London night is quiet. Inside, 2 survivors of Voldemort's first war begin planning for the second. The Goblet of Fire sits at the front of the hall, blue flames dancing. Students from 3 schools watch as Dumbledore approaches, ready to announce the champions who will compete in the Triwizard Tournament. Harry sits at a side table with Hermione, separate from the house tables, watching with clinical interest. He's 14 now, taller than he was at 11, still thin but no longer fragile. His robes are black with silver trim, Potter and black crests both visible. The champion for Durmstrang, Dumbledore announces, pulling a name from the goblet, is Victor Krum. Applause. The Bulgarian seeker stands, walks to the champion's room. The champion for Beauxbatons is Fleur de Lacour. The champion for Hogwarts is Cedric Diggory. The Hufflepuff table erupts. Cedric, 17, handsome and decent, accepts with a modest smile. Excellent, Dumbledore says. We now have our 3 champions. The goblet flares red, spits out a 4th piece of parchment. Dumbledore catches it, reads. His face goes very still. Harry Potter. The hall explodes, students shouting, professors standing. Harry doesn't move. Harry Potter. Dumbledore calls again, his voice sharp. Harry stands slowly, walks to the front. Every eye tracks him. The whispers are vicious. Cheat, attention seeker. The boy who lived can't help himself. Dumbledore's eyes are cold behind his spectacles. Did you put your name in the goblet, Harry? I did not. Did you ask an older student to do so? No. Karkaroff, the Durmstrang headmaster, snarls. This is cheating. Hogwarts cannot have 2 champions. I agree, Harry says calmly. Hogwarts should only have 1 champion. Fortunately, I'm not competing for Hogwarts. Silence. Explain, Dumbledore demands. The goblet selected Harry Potter. But Harry Potter is not a singular identity. I hold 3 titles: Lord Potter, Lord Black, Lord Peverell. The goblet didn't specify which entity it was selecting. Harry pulls out a document, unfolds it. According to the tournament charter of 1792, a champion may represent a school or a sovereign magical entity. I choose to compete as Lord Peverell, representing the ancient house of Peverell, not as a Hogwarts student. That's absurd, Madame Maxime says, her voice booming. You cannot transform a school tournament into a diplomatic event. The goblet transformed it. I'm simply defining the terms. Harry looks at Dumbledore. The goblet constitutes a binding magical contract. You said so yourself, headmaster. I didn't enter my name, but the magic has selected me. I'm offering a solution that preserves the integrity of the tournament while respecting the magical binding. Barty Crouch Sr., head of International Magical Cooperation, steps forward. This is unprecedented. So is a fourth champion. We're in unprecedented territory. I'm navigating it legally. What are you proposing? Crouch asks, his bureaucratic mind already calculating. I compete as Lord Peverell, a sovereign entity separate from Hogwarts. Cedric Diggory remains Hogwarts champion. The tournament becomes 4 competitors instead of 3. Durmstrang, Beauxbatons, Hogwarts, and House Peverell. I'll require accommodations equal to the other schools. My own tent, my own advisors, and veto power over any task deemed inappropriate for a noble peer. Veto power? Karkaroff's face purples. Absolutely not. Then I withdraw, the magical contract kills me, and you explain to the international community how the Triwizard Tournament murdered a 14-year-old lord. Your choice. The room goes deadly quiet. Dumbledore's voice is soft, dangerous. You're blackmailing the tournament organizers. I'm negotiating the terms of my forced participation. There's a difference. Crouch and Dumbledore exchange looks. Whispered conversation. Finally, Crouch nods. We'll convene a special session of the tournament committee, 24 hours to deliberate. Acceptable, Harry says. He turns to leave, stops. One more thing. I'll need to see the original tournament charter, all amendments, and the magical specifications of the goblet itself. For my legal review? You don't trust us, Madame Maxime asks. I don't trust anyone who puts my name in a magical contract without my consent. Documents by tomorrow morning, please. He walks out. Hermione follows. Behind them, chaos erupts. The arena is packed. Thousands of spectators. 3 schools worth of students, plus international guests, ministry officials, reporters from 17 countries. 4 tents at the edge of the arena. Durmstrang's tent flies their colors. Beauxbatons' tent is pale blue with silver stars. Hogwarts' tent bears red and gold. And the 4th tent, black with a silver triangle circle line symbol, represents House Peverell. Inside the Peverell tent, Harry sits with Hermione and Sirius. A contract specialist from Gringotts stands nearby reviewing documentation. This is insane, Sirius says. You're about to invoke a legal loophole regarding dragon rights. That doesn't make it less insane. Harry pulls out a scroll. The Treaty of 1709 between the International Confederation of Wizards and the Dragon Sanctuaries of Romania established that dragons cannot be used in entertainment or combat without sanctuary approval. The tournament organizers secured approval for controlled demonstration of champion skill, but the treaty also states that if a recognized noble house objects on grounds of cultural violation, the sanctuary can withdraw approval. You're going to object? Hermione asks. I'm going to negotiate. The Peverell family has historical connections to death-related magic. Dragons are symbols of death in 14 cultures. I'll argue that forcing me to fight a dragon violates Peverell cultural practices. Will that work? It'll create enough diplomatic complication that they'll have to modify the task. A cannon fires. The crowd roars. Harry stands, straightens his robes, walks toward the arena entrance. Wait, Sirius calls. What if they refuse your objection? Harry smiles. Then I'll fly better than everyone else. I've been practicing. He enters the arena. The dragon is a Hungarian horntail, 40 feet long, black scales, yellow eyes, breathing fire that melts stone. A golden egg sits in a nest behind her, guarded. The crowd expects Harry to summon his broom, to fly to outmaneuver the beast like the other champions did. Instead, Harry raises his hand. I invoke Treaty of 1709, Article 7. As Lord Peverell, I object to this task on cultural grounds. Dragons are sacred death symbols in Peverell tradition. Forcing me to fight one violates my house's ancestral practices. Ludo Bagman, the announcer, looks confused. What is he doing? A dragon sanctuary official in the judge's box stands abruptly, consults with Crouch. Heated discussion. 2 minutes pass. The horntail watches Harry, confused by the lack of movement. Finally, Bagman's voice echoes through the arena. The judges have ruled that Lord Peverell may negotiate an alternative solution with the dragon. The crowd goes silent. Harry turns to the horntail. Speaks in a language most of the crowd doesn't understand, but anyone who studied magical creatures would recognize as basic dragon speech. learned from books in the Black Library. I don't want the egg. I want safe passage past you. What do you want? The horntail tilts its head. Freedom. Return to mountain. I can arrange that. If you let me take the egg peacefully, I'll petition for your immediate release back to the Romanian sanctuary. You can do this. I'm a lord. I have political weight. Your handlers will listen. The dragon considers, then steps aside. Harry walks past, picks up the golden egg, walks back out of the arena. The crowd doesn't know whether to applaud or riot. Bagman stammers. Lord Peverell has successfully retrieved the egg, using diplomacy. The judges will deliberate on scoring. Harry returns to his tent. Sirius is staring. You negotiated with a dragon. Yes, in dragon speech. Basic phrases. I've been studying. You're terrifying. I'm efficient. The scores come in, lower than Crumb and Fleur, who fought their dragons with magic, higher than Cedric, who used transfiguration, and still got burned. Harry doesn't care about the scores. He cares that he just set a precedent. He doesn't play the game as designed. He changes the rules. The hostages are underwater, magically suspended, waiting to be rescued. The champions dive. Harry doesn't dive immediately. He waits at the edge, fully dressed in swimming robes, while the Blackguard assembles behind him. 4 guards equipped with underwater breathing charms and retrieval spells. The task says rescue your most precious person, Hermione says. She's on the shore, not underwater, because Harry refused to let her be used as leverage. You're supposed to dive in. It doesn't specify that I have to do it personally. You're sending your guards? I'm demonstrating house resources. If this were a real crisis, I wouldn't dive alone. I'd send trained professionals. The guards dive. 3 minutes later, they surface with all 4 hostages: Ron Weasley, Crumb's friend, Gabrielle Delacour, Fleur's sister, Cho Chang, Cedric's girlfriend, and a young girl from Beau's Batons. Harry waits on shore, pulls each hostage out personally, ensures they're breathing, wrapped in warming blankets. The judges are furious. You didn't complete the task yourself. The task was to rescue the hostages. I rescued all of them. It didn't specify I had to swim. This is cheating. This is strategic delegation. If you wanted me to swim, you should have specified that in the rules. Eventually, Harry receives partial points for creative problem solving and full points for ensuring all hostages' safety. He doesn't care. The message is sent. He has resources beyond what any student possesses. The Great Hall is transformed. Ice sculptures, enchanted snow falling from the ceiling, students in dress robes, dancing, laughing. Harry enters with Hermione. She wears deep blue robes, elegant and simple. Harry wears black with silver embroidery, the Peverell symbol over his heart. They dance. Not romantically. Professionally, 2 people who've worked together for 3 years, moving in practice synchronization. Reporters swarm the moment they leave the dance floor. Lord Potter, is Miss Granger your date? Harry stops, looks directly at the reporter. Miss Granger is the finest legal mind of our generation and the architect of half my political victories. She's my partner in every sense that matters. If your publication refers to her as my date instead of my partner, you'll receive libel charges by morning. Are we clear? Crystal clear, Lord Potter. Rita Skeeter tries next. But surely there's a romantic relationship, built on mutual respect and complementary skills. If you print anything else, I'll sue you personally and the Prophet corporately. Next question. The next morning the Daily Prophet runs. Lord Potter and partner Granger dominate Yule Ball with strategic alliance. Hermione reads it at breakfast, laughs. You've terrified the press into accuracy. It's a start. Harry sits in the library with Hermione, surrounded by books on the Goblet of Fire, magical contracts, and binding enchantments. Something's wrong, Harry says. The goblet shouldn't have selected 4 champions. The magic is designed to choose 3. Someone modified it. How? I don't know. But whoever entered my name did it knowing it would create a binding contract I couldn't refuse. That's not random, that's targeted. You think someone's trying to kill you. I think someone's trying to force me into a situation where they control the variables. Harry pulls out a map of the 3rd task maze. Isolated, monitored by judges, but not closely. If something goes wrong inside, it'll take minutes for help to arrive. So you prepare for the worst. I always do. They spend 3 weeks researching every spell, every counter curse, every defensive charm they can find. When the 3rd task arrives, Harry enters the maze carrying more magical knowledge than most 7th years possess. The maze is dark, dangerous, Full of creatures and curses designed to test champions, Harry navigates it with methodical precision, neutralizing threats, marking his path, staying alert. And when he reaches the center, when he sees the Triwizard Cup glowing on its pedestal, he stops. Because the cup has been modified, he can see the magical signature of a portkey layered over the original enchantment. Someone wants him to touch it. Someone wants him transported. Harry pulls out a small mirror from his robes, speaks into it. Sirius, emergency. The cup is a trap. Do not let anyone else touch it. Then he reaches for the cup, because if someone went to this much trouble to trap him, he wants to know who and why. He touches the cup. The world spins. And when he lands, he's exactly where he expected to be. Somewhere dangerous, surrounded by enemies, facing whatever plot has been building since his name came out of the goblet. But he's prepared. And that makes all the difference. The portkey lands Harry hard on damp earth. He rolls, comes up in a crouch, wand drawn. The graveyard is old, overgrown, headstones crooked and moss-covered. A cauldron sits in the center, massive, iron, filled with liquid that steams in the cool air. Peter Pettigrew stands beside the cauldron, holding something small and serpentine. Wormtail's eyes go wide when he sees Harry. You weren't supposed to bring? 3 more figures materialize. Blackguard members, armor gleaming, wands already raised. The emergency ward worked. Harry's heartbeat slows. He's not alone. Surrender, Harry orders. Drop the bundle, step away from the cauldron. Pettigrew backs away. No, the Dark Lord needs. One guard fires. Stupefy. Pettigrew crumples. The bundle falls, hits the ground, starts screaming in a voice that isn't human, isn't infant, is something caught between. Guard 2, secure Pettigrew, Harry commands. Guard 1, 3 perimeter. I'll handle the ritual. But it's too late. The cauldron's contents are boiling. The magic is already in motion, triggered the moment the bundle touched the ground. Harry watches, wand steady, as the ritual completes itself. No bone of the father, no flesh of the servant, no blood of the enemy, but something is rising from the cauldron anyway, fueled by magic laid years ago, waiting. The figure that emerges is humanoid, pale, bald, red eyes, but wrong. The proportions are off, the skin too thin, like something stitched together from spare parts and animated through spite. Voldemort stands in the graveyard, naked and newborn and furious. Harry Potter, the voice is high, cold. How convenient. I wanted an audience for my return. Tom Riddle. Harry doesn't lower his wand. You're not supposed to be here. The ritual requires 3 components. You only had 1. All I needed was the catalyst. Voldemort raises his hand. A wand flies from the cauldron's edge, lands in his palm. Now, you will duel me, you will lose, and I will kill you properly this time. No, I don't duel revenants. You're not a wizard anymore, Tom. You're a fragment of a soul possessing a homunculus body. I don't fight monsters. I exterminate them. Voldemort's face twists. You dare? Mors Mordre. Harry casts the dark mark into the sky. Green skull and serpent. The Death Eater's summoning signal. Voldemort laughs. Calling my followers, how thoughtful, they'll arrive to watch you die. They'll arrive to find out what happens when you break oaths sworn to House Slytherin. The first Death Eaters apparate, 12 masked figures, wands drawn, surrounding the graveyard. They see Voldemort, drop to their knees. My lord, you've returned. I have, and Potter has delivered himself to us. How generous. Lucius Malfoy removes his mask, sneering. The boy who lived won't live much longer. Harry looks at Lucius. You swore an oath to House Slytherin when you took the Dark Mark. Blood oath? Magically binding? Every Death Eater did. So I'm heir of Slytherin. I claimed the title when I took control of the chamber. The oaths you swore to Slytherin's legacy are now mine to command. Lucius goes pale. That's not. The old laws are clear. House Slytherin's vassals serve the heir, and several of you are also vassals of House Black. Bellatrix Lestrange, née Black. Narcissa Malfoy, née Black. You swore fealty to 2 houses. Both houses are mine. Bellatrix spits. I serve only the Dark Lord. Then your magic is forfeit. Harry pulls out 3 objects from his robes. An invisibility cloak, shimmering silver, a black stone cracked down the middle but still intact, and a wand, elder wood, impossibly straight, the Deathly Hallows. The cloak, Harry says, came from Peverell, my ancestor. I inherited it. The stone came from Cadmus Peverell. I retrieved it from the Forbidden Forest using Peverell right of reclamation. The wand came from Antioch Peverell. I won it from Dumbledore in political combat. Voldemort's red eyes narrow. You can't possibly. I am master of death. Harry's voice is flat. Absolute. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, legally. Under the old laws that predate the Ministry, predate Hogwarts, predate your pathetic attempt at immortality, and as Master of Death, I invoke the right of severance. He raises the Elder Wand, points it at Lucius Malfoy. Lucius Malfoy, you are a vassal of House Black. I am Lord Black. You betrayed your liege to serve a half-blood terrorist who despises your pure blood values. You violated every oath you swore. Your magic is forfeit. No, no. Harry speaks a word in Old English, the language of the Hallows. The Elder Wand glows white. Lucius screams. His wand explodes. His magic tears away from his core, visible for a moment as golden threads ripping from his chest, dissipating into nothing. He collapses. Still alive, still breathing, but empty. Squib. Bellatrix tries to run. Harry is faster. Bellatrix Lestrange Black. You tortured Frank and Alice Longbottom using Black family resources. You murdered Sirius Black's cousins. You violated every law of House Black. Your magic is forfeit. The same word, the same white light. Bellatrix's magic tears away. She falls, sobbing, screaming incoherently. The other Death Eaters scatter, apparating, running. Anything to escape the boy who's stripping their magic like pulling weeds. Harry lets them go. He only wanted the Black vassals. The ones who betrayed their houses. The rest are Voldemort's problem. Voldemort stands alone in the graveyard, facing Harry across 20 feet of consecrated ground. You've crippled my army. You built your army on stolen loyalty. I'm reclaiming what's mine. I will kill you, Potter. You'll try. Voldemort raises his wand. Avada. Harry's guards fire. 3 stunning spells simultaneously. Voldemort's shield blocks 2. The third hits his shoulder, spinning him sideways. His killing curse goes wild, hits a headstone, shatters it. You fight with hired wands, Voldemort hisses. You have no honor. Honor is for people who can afford it. I'm practical. Voldemort disapparates. Cowards exit. Strategic retreat. The graveyard goes silent. Harry lowers his wand, looks at the 2 former Death Eaters collapsed on the ground, their magic gone, their world ended. Secure them, he tells the guards. We're bringing them back alive. They'll stand trial. Harry walks through the doors flanked by the Black Guard. Between them, Pettigrew levitated on a stretcher. Unconscious, Lucius and Bellatrix levitated beside him, conscious but broken, weeping. The entrance hall is full. Students. Professors. Dumbledore at the front, staff beside him, wands half drawn. Harry. Dumbledore's voice is careful. What happened? Voldemort returned. Used the Triwizard Cup as a port key to transport me to a graveyard. Attempted a resurrection ritual. I interrupted it. Captured 3 Death Eaters and forced Voldemort to flee. 3 Death Eaters, Harry gestures, Peter Pettigrew, traitor to the Potters, Lucius Malfoy, vassal of House Black who served Voldemort, Bellatrix Lestrange, same. They're alive. They'll stand trial. The Ministry can't deny Voldemort's return now. Professor McGonagall steps forward, stares at Lucius. His magic is gone. I stripped it. Old laws. He violated his house oaths. Magic was forfeit. You made him a squib. I enforced consequences for betrayal. Hermione pushes through the crowd. She's pale. Shaking. Harry, what did you do? What needed to be done? You stripped their magic. That's a punishment allowed under the old laws. They swore oaths to houses they betrayed. The penalty is loss of magic. I enforced it. Hermione looks at Lucius, at Bellatrix, at the broken people sobbing on the floor. Are we the good guys? Harry meets her eyes. We're the effective guys. There's a difference. Dumbledore's voice cuts through. Harry, this is extreme. This is legal. Everything I did is covered under house law, treaties older than the Ministry. If you want to challenge it, file a complaint with the Wizengamot. I'll defend my actions there. I'm not challenging your legality. I'm questioning your judgment. My judgment saved lives. Voldemort wanted to torture me, kill me, and use my death to rally his Death Eaters. Instead, he lost 3 of his inner circle, lost his army's confidence, and fled like a coward. I'd call that a successful outcome. Sirius appears, running down the stairs. "Harry, I got your mirror message. I came as fast as—" He stops, sees the prisoners, sees Bellatrix, his cousin, his family, now a squib crying on the floor. He looks at Harry. "You did this?" "Yes." Sirius is quiet for a long time, then, "Good. She deserved worse." Dumbledore's face is grave. "Harry, we need to discuss what happened." Privately, "No. This is public. The ministry needs to be notified. The prophet needs to report it. Voldemort is back, and everyone needs to know. If you make this public without preparation, then the truth comes out immediately instead of being controlled by Fudge for 3 months while he decides whether believing me is politically convenient." Harry walks past Dumbledore toward the hospital wing with his prisoners. The Blackguard follows. Students scatter. Hermione catches up. Harry stops. Doesn't turn around. "You scared me," Hermione says quietly. "I've supported every decision you've made for 4 years. But tonight, watching you strip their magic, hearing them scream, I was scared of you." "I know. Are you going to keep doing this, using old laws to punish people, becoming the thing you're fighting?" Harry turns to face her. "I'm not becoming Voldemort. I'm not murdering innocents. I'm not building an army through fear. I'm enforcing consequences on people who swore oaths and broke them. There's a difference. The difference is narrower than you think. But I'm still on the right side of the line. For now." "Yes. For now," Hermione is quiet. "Then, I'm still with you. I just needed to say that." "I know." They continue to the hospital wing. Behind them, Dumbledore stands alone in the entrance hall, watching his student walk away with prisoners in tow, dispensing justice without asking permission. For the first time in 60 years, Albus Dumbledore feels old. Cornelius Fudge reads The Prophet, front page. Full spread, Voldemort returns. Potter captures Death Eaters, strips their magic, boy who lived now lord who judges. 3 prisoners await trial, Malfoy and Lestrange reduced to squibs under ancient house law. Fudge's hands shake. This is a disaster. Amelia Bones sits across from him, calm. This is reality. Voldemort is back. We need to prepare. The public will panic. The public will survive. What they won't survive is denial. Potter brought us 3 prisoners, living proof. We can't pretend this didn't happen. He stripped their magic, Amelia, without trial, without authorization. That's vigilante justice. That's house law. The old laws predate the ministry. We don't have jurisdiction over internal house discipline. If a vassal betrays their lord, the lord can strip their magic. It's codified in treaties going back 800 years. It's barbaric. It's legal. Fudge drops the paper. That boy is 14 years old. That boy is lord of 3 ancient houses, master of death, and the only person who's managed to hurt Voldemort in 15 years. 14 is irrelevant. He's more powerful than anyone in this building. That's what terrifies me. Bones stands, then be terrified of the right person. Voldemort will kill us. Potter will just outmaneuver us. I know which one I prefer. She leaves. Fudge sits alone, staring at the newspaper, at the photograph of Harry Potter walking through Hogwarts with prisoners in tow. The boy who lived is gone. Something else has taken his place, and Fudge doesn't know if that's salvation or a different kind of threat. Harry sits in the Peverell compartment with Hermione and Sirius. The Prophet is spread across the table, 3 weeks' worth of headlines stacked chronologically. Malfoy stripped of magic, ancient house law or modern barbarism. Fudge denies Voldemort's return, despite 3 prisoners. Potter, hero or vigilante. They're trying to discredit you, Hermione says. Make the story about your methods instead of Voldemort's return. Expected. Harry flips through the articles. Fudge can't admit he was wrong. Admitting Voldemort is back means admitting he ignored the threat for a year. Politically fatal. Calls, so he attacks you instead. Easier target. I'm 14, no ministry position. Just a lord with inconvenient evidence. Sirius leans back. The Wizengamot session next week will be brutal. Fudge will try to censure you for stripping Lucius and Bellatrix's magic. Let him try. House law is on my side. House law is 800 years old. Fudge will argue it's outdated, barbaric. inconsistent with modern magical society. Harry smiles. Cold. Then I'll argue that if house law doesn't apply, neither do the ancient house seats in the Wizengamot. If we're modernizing, let's modernize everything. Abolish the hereditary seats, make all positions elected, strip the old families of their political power. You'd threaten to dismantle the entire system? I'd threaten to make them choose. Either the old laws matter, and I'm legally justified, or they don't, and nobody gets hereditary power. Watch how fast the other lords defend house law when their own seats are at stake. Sirius laughs. You're going to hold the Wizengamot hostage with their own traditions. I'm going to make them defend me, because defending me defends themselves. The train rolls through the countryside. Outside, the sky is gray. Inside, Harry is already planning his next move. The full chamber is assembled. 50 seats in tiered semicircles. Fudge presides from the center podium. Purple robes, golden chain of office. Harry sits in the Peverell seat, flanked by Potter and Black seats. 3 votes. Hermione sits behind him in the scribe's gallery, quill ready. Fudge calls the session to order. Today we address the actions of Lord Harry James Potter-Black-Peverell regarding the stripping of magic from Lucius Malfoy and Bellatrix Lestrange. Lord Ogden, you have the floor. An elderly wizard stands. The methods employed by Lord Potter are archaic and cruel. Stripping a wizard's magic is a punishment not used since the 17th century. We must censure this behavior and establish that such actions will not be tolerated in modern society. Dumbledore sits in the chief warlock's seat, silent, watching. Harry stands. I invoke house law, Article 12 of the Treaty of 1214. A lord may strip the magic of any vassal who commits treason against their house. Lucius Malfoy was a vassal of House Black. He served Voldemort, who murdered members of House Black. That is treason. Bellatrix Lestrange, same. The law is clear. The law is outdated, Ogden counters. We don't use such punishments anymore. Then I propose we modernize all house laws, abolish hereditary seats in the Wizengamot, make all positions elected. If we're going to reject the old laws, let's reject all of them. The chamber goes silent. Lord Greengrass stands. Pure blood, ancient house, 3 hereditary seats. That's absurd. The Wizengamot has operated under hereditary succession for 1,000 years. Exactly? So either the old laws matter, or they don't. Choose. You can't pick which old laws to enforce based on convenience. Either house law is valid and I'm justified, or it's invalid and none of you belong here. The lords exchange looks, calculations running behind their eyes. Their seats are hereditary. Their power is hereditary. If house law falls, they fall with it. Lord Bones stands. Amelia's father, Lord Potter, makes a valid point. We cannot selectively enforce traditions. If we uphold hereditary seats, we uphold house law. All of it. The pure-blood lords who were ready to censure Harry suddenly find themselves defending him because defending him defends their own power. The motion to censure fails. 2-8, 2-2. Harry sits down. Hermione leans forward. You just made them choose between attacking you and protecting themselves. They'll always protect themselves. I just aligned our interests. Dolores Umbridge stands at the front. Pink cardigan, fake smile. Wands away. We'll be reading from the textbook today. Harry raises his hand. The curriculum approved by the Hogwarts Board of Governors includes practical defense. Reading theory doesn't fulfill that requirement. The Ministry has determined that theory is sufficient for your education level. The Hogwarts Charter of 1290 grants autonomy to the Board of Governors and the Headmaster. Ministry oversight is advisory, not binding. Umbridge's smile tightens. I am the High Inquisitor appointed by the Minister. Under what authority? Show me the legal justification for creating a position that supersedes the Hogwarts Charter. The Minister has the right to ensure educational standards. The Minister has the right to inspect, not to control. There's a difference. If you're claiming authority to overrule the Charter, I'll need to see the legislation that grants that power. You're a student, Mr. Potter. You don't have standing to challenge. I'm Lord of 3 ancient houses. I have 4 Wizengamot seats. I have standing to challenge any ministry action that violates established law. Show me your legal authorization or stop pretending you have power you don't possess. The classroom is silent, students staring. Umbridge's face is red behind her smile. Detention, Mr. Potter, tonight for insubordination. I'll appeal to the Board of Governors. And I'll file a complaint with the Wizengamot that the ministry is overstepping its authority. See you tonight, Madam Umbridge. He walks out. Hermione follows. Behind them, Umbridge is shaking with rage. 12 lords sit around a long table. Not the Light Lords, not the Dark Lords. The ones in the middle, Greengrass, Bones, Longbottom, Abbott, Davis, others. Harry stands at the head. Thank you for coming. I know this meeting is unusual. Lord Greengrass speaks. You called us here to discuss the ministry's overreach at Hogwarts. We're listening. Umbridge's educational decrees are illegal. The ministry doesn't have authority to control Hogwarts' curriculum. But Fudge is using the school as a testing ground. If we let him get away with this, he'll expand ministry control into other areas, your businesses, your estates, your houses. What are you proposing? A coalition, not light, not dark, gray. Lords who want to preserve our autonomy from both Voldemort's chaos and the ministry's overreach. We vote together on issues that threaten our independence. Lord Bones nods slowly. A third faction. Interesting. What's your first move? Vote of no confidence against Fudge. He's incompetent, he's denying Voldemort's return, and he's violating the Hogwarts Charter. We push him out. Replace him with someone competent. Amelia Bones, Lord Greengrass says. Your candidate? She's qualified, head of the DMLE, respected, pragmatic, better than Fudge. And loyal to you, loyal to law, which serves my interests because I operate legally. But she won't be my puppet. I don't want a puppet. I want a minister who's effective. The lords discuss, debate, eventually they agree. The Grey Alliance is born, 12 votes, not enough to control the Wizengamot, but enough to swing close decisions. And the first decision is Fudge's removal. Hermione drafted the motion, 3 pages of legal justification, educational decree violations, denial of credible threat intelligence, misuse of ministry resources. Dumbledore presents it. The motion before us is a vote of no confidence in Minister Cornelius Fudge. All in favor? The Light Lords vote yes, coordinated. Some Dark Lords vote yes. They want chaos, and removing Fudge creates chaos. The count finishes. 3-1, 1-9. Fudge is out. The emergency election takes 3 days. Amelia Bones wins. 28 votes, not a landslide, but enough. Her first act as minister, repeal all educational decrees, restore Hogwarts autonomy, remove Umbridge from the school. Her second act, officially acknowledge Voldemort's return, allocate resources to defense, begin recruiting Aurors. Harry watches from the gallery as the ministry transforms. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough. Hermione sits beside him. You just changed the government. We changed it. You wrote the motion. You built the coalition. We're a team. That's how this works. The orb glows on its shelf. Harry's name inscribed on the label, SPT to APWBD Dark Lord and Harry Potter. Harry stares at it, surrounded by 12 lords from the Grey Alliance, plus Hermione and Sirius. Not students, not children. A political delegation. Voldemort's voice echoes through the hall. Give me the prophecy, Potter. No. Death Eaters emerge from the shadows. 12 masked figures. Equal numbers, but Harry's side isn't scared teenagers. They're trained lords with decades of dueling experience. The battle is short, brutal, professional. Spells fly, shelves shatter, prophecy orbs explode. But the Grey Alliance fights with coordinated precision. No heroics, no showboating, just efficient combat. Bellatrix, no wait. Bellatrix is a squid now, she's not here. Another Death Eater tries to curse Sirius. Lord Greengrass shields him, returns fire. The Death Eater is forced back, retreating. The Death Eaters are operating short-handed. Harry stripped 2 of their best. Voldemort himself appears. Enough. Give me the prophecy or I kill you all. Harry picks up the orb. You want this? Fine. He throws it. The orb shatters against the floor. Glass and mist. The prophecy destroyed. Voldemort screams, You fool! Prophecies aren't commands. They're probabilities. Whatever it said, I don't need it. I'll kill you anyway. Dumbledore apparates into the hall. Fawkes on his shoulder. Tom, leave. Voldemort sees Dumbledore, sees the Grey Alliance, sees his numerical disadvantage. He disapparates. The Death Eaters scatter. The hall goes quiet. Dumbledore looks at the shattered prophecy. At Harry, you destroyed it. I don't need a prophecy to tell me what to do. I decide my own future. The prophecy said that one of you must kill the other, that neither can live while the other survives, because he's a threat. That's reason enough. Dumbledore is quiet for a long moment. Then, you've grown beyond my guidance, Harry. I'm not sure whether to be proud or concerned. Be both. I am. Harry sits with Hermione and Sirius, reviewing the year. Maps and documents spread across the table. Fudge is out, Hermione says, checking her list. Amelia Bones is minister. Voldemort is publicly acknowledged. Umbridge is removed. Grey Alliance established with 12 members. Costs, Harry asks. We lost the prophecy. Voldemort knows we're organized now. The Ministry is functional but still weak. Death Eaters are in hiding but not destroyed. Assets, political control, the Grey Alliance can swing most votes. Amelia owes us. Hogwarts is autonomous again. We have resources to hunt horcruxes next year. Harry nods. 5th year, successful. We didn't just survive, we changed the battlefield. Sirius looks at his godson. When you were 11, you wanted revenge on the Dursleys. Now you're toppling governments and building political coalitions. What happened to you? I learned that revenge is small, power is bigger, and changing systems is biggest of all. You sound like a revolutionary. I sound like someone who's tired of fighting the same battles. Time to end the war. Properly. Outside, the sun sets over Hogwarts. Inside, Harry plans for 6th year, the horcruxes, the final hunt, the endgame. He spent 5 years building power, alliances, resources. Now it's time to use them. Harry spreads 7 photographs across the table, objects, locations, research compiled over 5 months. These are Voldemort's anchors, Harry says. Hermione and Sirius lean forward. Dumbledore sits at the far end, watching. He split his soul. Created horcruxes, 6 deliberate horcruxes plus the piece remaining in his body, 7 fragments total. As long as one exists, he can't die. How do you know? Dumbledore found the ring. Harry gestures to the first photo. A gold ring with a black stone. Marvolo Gaunt's ring. Retrieved from the Gaunt shack last summer. But the ring was cursed. Nearly killed him. Dumbledore raises his blackened hand. The curse damage is contained, not spreading, but still visible. I was impulsive. I tried to destroy it without proper precautions. Harry taps the second photo. Tom Riddle's diary. Already destroyed. 2nd year. Chamber of Secrets. Basilisk Fang. Third photo. Slytherin's locket. Regulus Black stole it from Voldemort in 1979. Creature knows where it is. Helga Hufflepuff's cup. Last seen in Hepzibah Smith's collection. Likely in Bellatrix Lestrange's Gringotts vault. 5th photo, Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem, lost for centuries, likely hidden at Hogwarts in the Room of Requirement. 6th photo, Nagini, Voldemort's snake. He keeps her close. Hardest target, dash. 7th photo is blank. And the last one, Sirius asks. Harry touches his scar. Me. The night Voldemort tried to kill me, his soul was unstable, a fragment attached to the only living thing in the room. I'm an accidental horcrux. Hermione's voice is small. You're sure? Yes. The connection between us, the dreams, the parcel tongue, it's not a gift, it's contamination, but it can be removed. We just need the right ritual. And if the ritual fails, then I'm still a horcrux, and we'll need a contingency plan. But we try the ritual first. Worst case, we leave mine for last, destroy the others, and deal with my scar after Voldemort is mortal. Dumbledore speaks quietly. You've thought this through. I've had a year to research. Hermione found the references. You provided the field data. I'm synthesizing the plan. Harry looks at each of them. This is a siege. We're going to systematically destroy his immortality. By June, Voldemort will be a mortal wizard with a wand and an army, and we'll kill him like any other enemy. The ring sits on a pedestal in Dumbledore's office, surrounded by 3 Gringotts cursebreakers. Runes glow as they map the curse structure. It's a layered trap, the lead cursebreaker says. His name is Goldax, 50 years of experience, 16 interlocking curses, designed to kill anyone who wears it. Can you dismantle it? Harry asks. Yes, but it'll take 6 hours, and we'll need to destroy the ring to purge the Horcrux after. Do it. Harry brings out the Sword of Gryffindor, borrowed from Dumbledore with permission. One strike, the ring shatters, black smoke rises, Screaming dissipates. 2 down, 5 to go. The cave is dark, damp, smells like salt and death. Harry stands at the entrance with 6 Black Guard members, 2 potions experts, and Creature whispers, to get the locket. Master ordered Creature to destroy it, but Creature couldn't. Creature failed. You didn't fail, you survived, and now you're helping us finish what Regulus started. They enter the cave. Boat across the lake. Inferi swirl beneath the surface, waiting. At the center island, the basin sits filled with glowing green potion. The locket is at the bottom. Standard approach, Harry says. We don't drink it, we drain it. The potion's experts cast vanishing charms. The liquid disappears in segments, carefully banished to avoid triggering protective curses. 10 minutes. The basin is empty. The locket is exposed. Harry reaches in, takes it. The Inferi rise, hundreds of them, but Harry's guards are ready. Fire charms, coordinated, controlled. The Inferi burn, retreat. They return to the boat, leave the cave. No heroic sacrifices, no dramatic suffering. Just professional retrieval. Back at Hogwarts, the sword of Gryffindor shatters the locket. 3 down. Harry stands in Director Ragnarok's office. I need access to the Lestrange vault. That vault is sealed by House Lestrange authority. You don't have clearance. Bellatrix Lestrange is a squib now. Her magic was stripped. She doesn't have authority over anything. And as Lord Black, I claim oversight of Black family assets held by Black descendants. The cup in her vault was stolen from Hepzibah Smith. It's a horcrux. I'm retrieving it. Ragnarok's eyes narrow. You're claiming Lord's right of inspection? Yes. And I'm invoking the Treaty of 1682. If a goblin vault contains objects created through soul magic, Gringotts has authority to remove them. Soul magic violates the accords between wizards and goblins. The cup needs to be destroyed. Ragnarok considers. You're using our own laws against us? I'm aligning our interests. You want soul magic out of your bank. I want the horcrux destroyed. We both win. Ragnarok drums his fingers. Then, approved. You have 2 hours. Harry descends to the vault with Griphook, 2 curse breakers, and a guard contingent. The vault is full of treasure. Cursed treasure. Touch anything, it multiplies and burns. The cup sits on a high shelf, Hufflepuff's cup, gold with badger engravings. Harry uses a levitation charm, doesn't touch it directly, floats it into an enchanted containment box, seals it. They return to the surface. Sword of Gryffindor shatters the cup in Ragnarok's office. 4 down. The Room of Lost Things is a labyrinth. Mountains of forgotten objects. Centuries of accumulation. Harry enters with Hermione, a tracking charm specialist, and 4 guards. They spent 3 weeks researching. The diadem emits a specific magical signature, dark magic, soul fragment. The tracker follows it like a compass. 2 hours of searching. Finally, the diadem sitting on a bust, tarnished silver, sapphire cracked. Don't touch it, Harry warns. It's cursed. Erodes sanity. The curse breaker casts diagnostic charms. It's volatile. Any attempt to remove it might trigger fiend fire. Then we trigger it under controlled conditions. They evacuate the room, set up fire containment wards, remote casting protocols. The curse breaker casts fiend fire from outside the room using a wand extension charm. The cursed fire roars through the labyrinth, consuming everything. The diadem burns. The horcrux screams. The fire dissipates. The diadem is ash. 5 down, 2 to go. Voldemort keeps Nagini close. Protective enchantments. Blood wards. Never lets her out of his sight. So Harry creates a situation where Voldemort brings Nagini to him. The trap. Fake intelligence that Harry is alone at Malfoy Manor investigating Death Eater activity. Leaked through a compromised informant. Irresistible bait. Voldemort arrives with Nagini expecting an easy kill. Instead, he finds 12 Lords of the Grey Alliance, 30 Aurors led by Amelia Bones, and Harry standing in the center with the Sword of Gryffindor. The battle is chaos, spells everywhere. Voldemort focuses on Harry, doesn't notice Lord Greengrass flanking left with 2 Aurors targeting Nagini, 1 cutting curse. Clean, precise. Nagini's head separates from her body. The snake dies. The Horcrux dies with it. Voldemort screams, feels the loss, his connection to immortality severing. He disapparates in panic. 6 down, 1 to go. Harry lies on a stone table surrounded by runes. 5 goblin ritual specialists, Dumbledore, Hermione, Sirius. The Deathly Hallows arranged in a triangle around the table. "This will hurt," Goldax warns. "We're pulling a soul fragment from your scar. It's anchored to your life force. Separation is difficult. I understand. Do it." The ritual begins, chanting in gobbledygook. The runes glow, the hallows resonate, the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, the Cloak of Invisibility, all three humming with ancient magic. Harry's scar burns. White hot, he grits his teeth. Doesn't scream. The soul fragment resists. Clings. It's been there for 16 years. It doesn't want to leave. But the hallows are stronger. The Master of Death commands the fragment separate. Black smoke tears from Harry's forehead. Screaming, writhing. It tries to re-anchor, to find another host. The goblin specialists contain it, bind it, force it into a silver cage etched with runes. The smoke dissipates. Gone. Harry's scar is clean. Just a scar now, no magic, no connection, no contamination. He sits up slowly, touches his forehead. It's gone. 6 horcruxes destroyed, Hermione says, consulting her list, plus the fragment in Voldemort's body remains. Voldemort is mortal. Harry stands. Then it's time to finish this. Harry stands at the window, looking out over Hogwarts grounds. 6th year ending, 7th year ahead. Dumbledore enters. "You've accomplished what I spent a decade researching. Found and destroyed 6 horcruxes in 9 months. You found 2, provided intelligence on 3 others. I just had better resources. You didn't try to do it alone. Trying to do things alone gets people killed. I learned that early." Dumbledore is quiet for a moment. What happens now? Now we prepare for the final battle. Voldemort is mortal, but he still has an army, still has a wand. He'll come for you. Let him. I've spent 6 years building power, alliances, resources. I've stripped his immortality, crippled his inner circle, exposed his existence, turned the ministry against him. He's fighting uphill now. You sound confident. I'm prepared. There's a difference. Dumbledore studies his student. You've surpassed me, Harry. In strategy, in ruthlessness, in political acumen. I'm not sure whether I'm proud or concerned. Be both. I am. Dumbledore leaves. Harry stays at the window. Below, students are leaving for summer. Packing trunks. Saying goodbyes. But Harry isn't leaving. He's staying at Hogwarts, preparing. Because 7th year won't be about classes or exams. It'll be about war. And Harry intends to win. The wards around Hogwarts shimmer, layered, reinforced. Harry spent 6 months with Hermione and a team of ward specialists designing them. Not just protective barriers, strategic channels, funnel points, kill zones. He stands in the astronomy tower with Amelia Bones, Lord Greengrass, and commanders from 12 houses. The Grey Alliance mobilized, 30 Aurors, 40 trained 7th years, defensive positions mapped, evacuation routes established, medical stations prepared. He's coming tonight, Harry says. Voldemort will attack when the wards are weakest, between midnight and dawn. How do you know? Amelia asks. Because that's what I would do. He's desperate, 6 horcruxes destroyed. His immortality is gone. He needs to kill me before I kill him. He'll bring everything he has. Death Eaters? 43 confirmed. Giants, acromantulas from the forest. Maybe werewolves. He'll try to overwhelm us with numbers. We're outnumbered. We're outpositioned. We control the terrain. We've prepared the battlefield. Numbers don't matter if he has to fight our way. Hermione enters, carrying scrolls. Final ward configurations are set. Medical team is ready. Evacuation protocol is loaded. We're as prepared as we can be. Harry nods. Then we wait. The wards scream. Alarms throughout the castle. Students already evacuated to Hogsmeade. Only defenders remain. Harry stands at the main entrance. Deathly Hallows on his person. Elder Wand in hand. Resurrection Stone in pocket. Invisibility cloak across shoulders. Voldemort's army approaches. 40 Death Eaters in formation. 3 giants. Hundreds of acromantulas. They stop 200 yards from the castle. Voldemort steps forward. Potter, come out and face me, alone, or I kill everyone inside. Harry walks out, stops 50 feet away. You're not in a position to make demands, Tom. I have an army. So do I. Mine is behind protective wards. Yours is exposed. You're standing in a kill zone. Kill zone? You're a child playing war. Harry raises his hand. Signals. The wards shift. 12 funnel points open. Aurors fire through the gaps. Coordinated strikes. 3 Death Eaters fall before Voldemort's forces can shield. I'm a lord who spent 7 years preparing for this moment. You're a half-dead terrorist who lost his immortality. We're not equals, Tom. We never were. Voldemort's face twists. You arrogant? I'm accurate. You've already lost. You just don't know it yet. Kill him, Voldemort screams. Kill them all! The Death Eaters charge. The giants advance. The Acromantulas swarm. Harry's forces respond. Not chaos. Choreography. Students hold the walls with shield charms. Aurors fire from elevated positions. Grey Alliance lords engage the Death Eaters directly. 3 giants meet anti-giant wards designed specifically to counter their magic resistance. The battle rages. Spells everywhere. But Harry's side is winning, because they're fighting smart. Harry leads Voldemort away from the main battle, goads him, taunts him, draws him toward the castle. You're running, Voldemort says. Finally showing your cowardice. I'm choosing the battlefield, there's a difference. They descend, through corridors, downstairs, into the depths of Hogwarts, to the Chamber of Secrets. The chamber is vast. Ancient, Slytherin's serpent statue looms. Scales, the basilisk watches from a side chamber, contracted to House Potter, loyal. The Chamber of Slytherin, Voldemort says, You brought me here to remind me of my heritage? I brought you here because this is where I claimed it. I'm heir of Slytherin through conquest, which means every oath sworn to Slytherin's legacy is mine to command, including yours. I swore no oath to you. You swore one to the legacy. You claimed Slytherin's ideals, built your entire identity on them. That's an oath whether you formalized it or not. Harry raises the Elder Wand. The resurrection stone glows in his other hand. The cloak ripples across his shoulders. 3 Hallows, Harry says. I am Master of Death. Not a title, legal authority. Under the old laws that predate your existence, I command death itself. That's a fairy tale. Then test it. Voldemort fires. Avada Kedavra. Green light. Harry doesn't dodge. The cloak shifts, becomes tangible, blocks the curse. The killing curse dissipates against fabric that makes the wearer untouchable by death. You can't kill me, Harry says. I'm already beyond death's reach. But you've died already, multiple times. You fragmented yourself, destroyed your soul's integrity. You're not alive, Tom. Your animated remains. And I'm simply enforcing what you already are. He raises the Elder Wand, speaks in the language of the Hallows. Old English, ancient magic. The words echo through the chamber. I am Master of Death. I command all souls within my domain. Tom Marvolo Riddle, your soul is forfeit. By right of the Hallows, by conquest of your legacy, by authority of death itself, I expel you. The resurrection stone flares. The Elder Wand channels power. The cloak shields Harry from backlash. Voldemort screams. His body convulses. Black smoke pours from his mouth, his eyes, his skin. The soul, the last fragment already damaged, barely coherent, tears free, no anchor to return to, no horcrux to preserve it, just raw soul, exposed, vulnerable. The smoke tries to flee, to find a host, to survive. Harry raises the stone. No, you're done. The smoke dissipates, screaming, fading, gone. Voldemort's body collapses, empty, just flesh. No soul, no magic, nothing. The Dark Lord is dead, finally, completely, irrevocably. Harry emerges from the castle. The battle is over. Death Eaters surrendered when Voldemort's magical signature vanished. Giants fled. Acromantulas retreated to the forest. Casualties are minimal. 3 Aurors injured, 1 7th year with a broken arm. No deaths on Harry's side. 17 Death Eaters captured. 23 fled. 3 dead. Amelia Bones approaches. Is it over? Voldemort is gone, permanently. You killed him? I expelled his soul. He'd destroyed himself so thoroughly that he couldn't hold together anymore. I just enforced what he'd already done to himself. Dumbledore walks over, looks exhausted, relieved. How do you feel? Tired, ready for this to be done. You've accomplished more in 7 years than most wizards accomplish in a lifetime. You've reshaped the political landscape, destroyed a Dark Lord, and created alliances that will last generations. I had help. Hermione, Sirius, you, the Grey Alliance. I didn't do this alone. No. But you led it. That matters. Harry looks at the sunrise, dawn breaking over Hogwarts, the castle damaged but standing, his home for 7 years, the place where he transformed from victim to lord to something more. What happens now? Hermione asks, joining them. Now we rebuild, reform the ministry, fix the laws, make sure this doesn't happen again. That'll take decades, then we'll spend decades doing it. We're 18, we have time. The ceremony is small, intimate. 7th years who fought in the battle, teachers who stayed, families who survived. Harry receives his diploma, Hermione receives hers with 12 outstanding NEWTs. They stand together on the stage. McGonagall, now headmistress after Dumbledore's retirement, addresses the crowd. This class has endured more than any in Hogwarts history. They fought a war, won it, and still managed to pass their exams. They represent the best of what magic can be: strength, intelligence, and courage used in service of something greater. Applause. Harry doesn't feel triumphant, just relieved. 7 years of constant warfare, political maneuvering, life or death decisions. It's over, finally. After the ceremony, Sirius finds him. You did it, kid. James and Lily would be proud. They'd be horrified at some of my methods, but they'd be proud of the result. You ended a war, saved thousands of lives, changed the world. That's not nothing. The systems that allowed Voldemort to rise are still in place. I need to change those too. So change them. You're youngest sitting lord in Wizengamot history. You control the Grey Alliance, you have the minister's ear, you have resources, use them. I intend to. Harry sits in the Peverell seat, Hermione sits in the scribe's gallery, now his official legal counsel. The Grey Alliance has expanded, 23 houses now, swing votes on nearly every issue. Amelia Bones, re-elected minister by a landslide, presides. Today's agenda: reconstruction funding, Death Eater trials, and reform of the magical law enforcement department. Lord Potter, you have the floor. Harry stands. I propose comprehensive reform. Not just trials, not just rebuilding. Fundamental change. We need to address why Voldemort rose in the first place. Blood purity laws that marginalized half-bloods and muggle-borns, economic inequality that created desperate followers, educational gaps that left people vulnerable to propaganda. If we don't fix the root causes, we'll face another Dark Lord in 20 years. What are you proposing? Lord Greengrass asks. First, repeal all blood purity laws. Marriage restrictions, employment discrimination, education access, gone. Second, economic reform. Establish funding for Muggle-born students, small business loans for those outside traditional families. Third, education reform. Mandatory political literacy classes at Hogwarts. Teach students how the government works so they can't be manipulated by demagogues. The chamber debates. Some lords resist, others support. The Grey Alliance votes as a bloc. The reforms pass, not all of them, not perfectly, but enough. Harry sits down. Hermione leans forward from the gallery. You just changed 1,000 years of tradition. Harry sits in his study. Reports spread across the desk. Wizengamot minutes, ministry proposals, alliance correspondence. Hermione enters with tea. You're working too late again. There's a lot to do. There's always a lot to do. You'll burn out if you don't pace yourself. I know, but we're finally winning. Not through war, through policy, through reform. This is what I wanted. This is why I spent 7 years building power. Hermione sits across from him. What do you want now? Long term. You've defeated Voldemort. You've reformed the government. You're the most powerful lord in Britain. What's next? Harry considers. I want magical Britain to be a place where an orphan like me doesn't have to become a lord to get justice. Where Hermione Granger doesn't need a powerful patron to be respected for her brilliance. Where people are judged by their actions, not their blood. That's a decades-long project. Then we'll spend decades on it. You're my partner in everything. You've been since first year. I'm not doing this without you. Hermione smiles. Then I suppose we'd better get to work. They return to the reports. Outside, snow falls on Potter Manor. Inside, 2 18-year-olds plan the future of magical Britain. They're not the boy who lived in the brightest witch of her age anymore. They're Lord Potter-Black-Peverell and Council Granger, architects of a new era, and their work is just beginning. The Wizengamot chamber has changed, more elected seats, fewer hereditary ones. The reforms took 2 decades to implement fully, but they happened. Harry, now 38, sits in the Chief Warlock seat. He was elected 5 years ago, first elected Chief Warlock in 400 years. Hermione, Minister of Magic for 7 years, presides from the podium. She's transformed the ministry, modernized it, made it efficient. The current debate, extending voting rights to magical creatures, goblins, house elves, centaurs. It's controversial, it's necessary, and it's passing. Harry watches the vote tally. 4, 2, 1, 8. Historic. After the session, Hermione joins him in his office. We did it. You did it together, like everything else. Harry looks at the window, the ministry building outside, the London skyline beyond. You know what's strange? I thought defeating Voldemort would be the hardest thing I ever did, but it was just the beginning. Changing systems is harder than fighting wars. Much harder, but more important. Do you regret it, the path you took, the things you did? Harry thinks about Lucius Malfoy stripped of magic, Bellatrix screaming, the brutal efficiency of his political rise, the lines he crossed, some of it, but not the outcome. We ended a war, built something better. That's worth the cost. Even the personal cost? Even that. They sit in silence for a moment. Then Hermione stands. Come on. Sirius is expecting us for dinner, and your godson wants help with his transfiguration homework. The next generation, who'll inherit a better world than we did, because we made it better. Harry stands, follows Hermione out of the office. Behind them, the Wizengamot chamber sits empty, waiting for tomorrow's session. The war ended 20 years ago, but the work continues, and Harry Potter, Lord of 3 ancient houses, Master of Death, Chief Warlock of the Wizengamot, is exactly where he wants to be, not defeating Dark Lords, building a world where Dark Lords can't rise in the first place. That's power. Real power. And he spent 2 decades learning how to use it. The story doesn't end with a battle. It ends with a better beginning. Let us know what you'd like to see next. The end.